Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to do another classic film review, and today it is for the 1993 western Tombstone, a movie that is directed by George P. Cosmatos and stars, wait for it, Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp, we have Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, we have Sam Elliott in the movie, the late great Bill Paxton, the late great Powers Booth, Michael Bayan, Charlton Heston, Jason Priestley, Stephen Lang, deep breath, Thomas Hayden Church, Dana Delaney. Let's have a look. Who else have we got? Michael Rooker, Billy Bob Thornton, goes Billy Zane. This film goes on and on and on and on. It's one of the most incredible cast of a film I've ever seen, basically, this film. And the reason why I've decided to do Tombstone as a classic film review is because A, it's a classic, I think anyone that's seen that will agree, and B, with the imminent arrival in October of Red Dead Redemption 2 on the PlayStation that I am stupidly excited for, I thought I'd do a couple of classic film reviews of my favourite westerns leading up to the release of that game. And the first classic film review I have chosen is Tombstone. Because basically it's my favourite western of all time. I absolutely adore this film. I think it is essentially flawless. And something I didn't realise until fairly recently was, even though it's got George P. Cosmatos down as the director for this film, in actual fact it's widely understood that it was actually Kurt Russell that directed this film, because the original director that came on board was fired, and under the advice of Stallone, they advised him to hire George P. Cosmatos because he did something similar on Rambo First Blood Part 2, where Stallone was really the director but George P. Cosmatos was on set to make sure everything ran smoothly. And it was a similar thing here, and so Kurt Russell really directed this movie, even though it says George P. Cosmatos. And judging by the quality of this film, what have you been doing, Kurt? Why haven't you directed more? That's the first thing I would say in this film. And for those that don't know, this film is, in actual fact, it came out at the same time when Kevin Costner did his Wyatt Earp film. So there were two came out at the same time, and neither of them were particularly successful at the time, but this is widely regarded as far superior to the Kevin Costner version. This film focuses on Wyatt Earp and his brothers, and they move to Tombstone when Wyatt Earp retires as a lawman, and they move out to Tombstone to seek their family fortune, as everybody else is doing. And it gives a lovely little montage at the beginning as to why people are going to Tombstone. It's the boom town, basically. So Wyatt Earp and his brothers turn up in Tombstone, but the whole place is infested with this gang of outlaws called the Cowboys, who is run by Powers Booth, who think they run the whole place. They keep getting in trouble. The law can't deal with them, but Kurt Russell, Wyatt Earp, is adamant that he's not going to get involved. He's had enough of that. He wants a different life for himself, but it gets to a point where he can't ignore it anymore. Or certainly his older brother Virgil, played by Sam Elliott, he's the one that breaks first. He can't take it anymore, and he takes a job as a lawman, as does Bill Paxton, the younger brother, much to the dismay of Kurt Russell, Wyatt Earp. All continues to escalate, and to the point where we get the gunfight at the Orca Corral and all the epic stuff that you get along with this iconic character of Wyatt Earp. And along the way we get Val Kilmer's pitch perfect performance as Doc Holliday. Now, Val Kilmer's had his critics over the years. There's no denying that he's had his critics over the years in regards to his attitude on film set, his performances, things like that. This is hands down the best performance he's ever given on screen as Doc Holliday. It is wonderful, endlessly repeatable, his lines, memes, I'm your Huckleberry and you're a daisy if you do. Epic gunfights in this movie, and I mean epic. I remember watching this when I was younger, and the shootout he has with Michael Bayan's character, I just kept watching over and over and over again. It's iconic, and the gunfight between Kurt Russell and Powers Booth in the middle of the river, that seems incredibly Hollywoodized, but in actual fact, when you research it, and I've looked into it, that is an actual accurate account of what happened. That's what Wyatt Earp did by the people that he did it to. There was somebody that survived who died soon after, that when they recounted back what had happened, that's exactly how they described it. That's what Wyatt Earp did. He went charging into the river and just took them all out. So it seems very Hollywoodized, a lot of aspects of this film, but a lot of it is historically accurate. Wonderfully entertaining, brilliantly made, well acted, with great performances throughout by everybody. Some heartbreaking scenes and some iconic scenes. The scene in the railway station where Kurt Russell says, you tell him I'm coming and hell's coming with me. Oh my God, that it gets the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. Ultimately, fantastically an iconic Western movie, this. Wonderful. It's constructed really well. It doesn't feel, like I say, Hollywoodized, when they're in the gunfights, even though they might be, 6 feet in front of them. They're missing the target, because essentially most of the time they were drunk, these people, and they weren't expert marksmen. The ones that practiced it were people like Doc Holliday and Michael Baine's character Johnny Ringo. They're the ones that became the gunfighters because they practiced and they became good at it. The majority of them couldn't hit a barn door if it was in front of them. They were useless, and this film depicts that. It shows the fact that, even though they stood literally in front of them, they can't hit them. Some of them, they were useless. So it's historically accurate. It feels genuine. It feels dirty and grimy, and there's a lovely love story that runs through the whole thing that keeps the heart of the picture alive. There's there's a love story where Kurt Russell, Wyatt Earp's character, is in love with someone, but ultimately he can't have her, even though he's deeply in love with her, and you just want it to work. So guys, I've got to tell you, this is only my second on this channel, straight 10 out of 10. I can't find any faults with this movie. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I love it so much, but I think this is pretty much a flawless movie. I think a truly iconic Western. If this had been made, one of these John Wayne ones in the 50s or something, it would be, right up there. Everyone would be talking about it still. I do think this is a well-respected Western by a lot of people now, but at the time it was kind of ignored when it was released. But I just love this movie. Absolutely adore it, and I definitely recommend. If you've never seen Tombstone, guys, you must watch it. It is amazing. So yep, keep tuned. I'm gonna do another 1 or 2 classic westerns leading up to the release of Red Dead Redemption 2. If you've got any suggestions, fire them in the comments, and if it's a film I really like, I may well do one for that as well in regards to a western. So thank you very much for watching.